Step number 9, due diligence. Welcome back to my channel. Hi, my name is Calvin Wong, Cap Break Jedi. This channel is going to show you from A to Z on how to invest in commercial real estate like a pro. Today I'm going to talk about due diligence, step number 9. If you have been watching my videos for the past few series, I have from step 1 to step 8. Now today is step number 9, due diligence. What are some of the things that we do in due diligence? First, look at order what we call a phase 1 report, also known as environmental report. And then we're gonna look at a survey, the property survey, and then also title commitment. So when you're buying a property, whether it's a warehouse or shopping centers or hotel, phase 1 will generally tell you if there's any historical records of contamination around the property or on the property. That's very important because if phase 1 calls for phase 2, that means they have to come out, the third-party environmental company will have to come out and bore, drill, and get some sample size of the soil for the lab to do further testing or get some sample of floorings and things like that to go test for further sample. But generally, if the property is not close by a gas station or dry cleaners, typically there's not a whole lot of issues. But again, it's very important to order a phase 1 report just to get a peace of mind that your property the soil is not contaminated. And then the survey is also very important because not only does it tell you about the property line, your boundary line, sometimes it also will show like the easement, what are the utility easement that is recorded, right? So you want to make sure like it's not in the floodplain. And then what are the easements? Is there like a gas line easement or a utility easement, things like that? Because if there's an easement, most of the time you cannot build anything over it. If you are buying a piece of land, if there's easement on the property, you're not able to build over it. Sometimes you can build a parking lot, as long as it's not a structure. Everything else you can do it, like parking lot or access pathways. Title commitment. A lot of time people just don't look at it because it's the title commitment itself. Sometimes it can go 20, 30 pages long, depending on what is being recorded and what is being excluded from the title policy. It's very important to review the title commitment with an attorney because commercial real estate attorney, they are very familiar with the language and the issues underlying on those recordings. So if you are not comfortable in reviewing title commitment, make sure you engage an attorney, a real estate attorney, to kind of help you out on that. So yeah, a lot of things that we're doing on due diligence. Then we also want to review all the leases, right? We call it lease audit. We want to make sure that the leases, the rent amount, the square footage, everything is matching what was shown to us when we were making an offer to the property. A lot of time we got it, whether it's like a offering memorandum, OM, marketing package, or flyers. So they will have like a schedule, like rent schedule, tenant, and some financials, right? Make sure you cross-check with that and review the leases and the rent roll to make sure all the information are correct and all the things that you thought you're buying, it's there. The tenants, the rent amount, and also we will want to ask for the seller for the last 2 years of financial statements, income statements, a ledger, because if you have the historical, you can easily verify and cross-check the flyers and the marketing package that you were underwriting when you make an offer. Because when you make an offer, you offer a price based on the marketing flyer that you got. And then when you go under contract, this is where you are able to get all the leases, the rent roll, and request for financials to underwrite the deal even further or just verification. And then another thing to look out for is the utilities contract, especially like electric energy contract. Landlord may have entered a electric contract with a vendor, maybe 3 years or 4 years. So let's say they still have 2 years left. When you take over the property, you have to continue with that, fulfill that contract, like what is the 2 years left or whatever. So sometimes if you have your own relationship with an energy broker or vendor, you're not able to do that because they have a contract. So just something to keep in mind. And then when you are reviewing the lease, make sure you verify, like, are they triple net leases or is it like a gross lease? Because if it is gross lease, whenever the expenses go up, it will basically, in a sense, your net income is going to be lower, because if it is a gross lease, sometimes if there's no cap, basically all the increase in expenses is going to pass through to the landlord. So essentially you are reducing your income because of increasing expenses. And then, if there's a base year on the lease, what that means is like the tenant is responsible. So let's say a base year, let's call it $5 an expense. If the expense goes up to $6, so the difference is $1. If on your lease contract there's a base year, then this $1 will pass through to the tenant. So instead of you basically absorbing that $1 increase, it's actually passing through the tenant. So it's very important to kind of review the lease and make sure what type of lease that you have. Now, obviously at that time, you're not able to change the lease type. You can only change when their lease is expired, and then you can renegotiate to convert it to triple net. Obviously, triple net is the best structure because all the expenses are passed through to the tenant. Those are the things that I normally do on due diligence phase, is to look at the phase 1 report, analyzing the survey, reviewing the title commitment, and make sure like everything is good, because the title policy only covers certain things, just like insurance. There's Schedule B that they will not cover, is an exclusion. So anything on your Schedule B is going to be excluded from the coverage. So you want to make sure to pay attention on Schedule B as well. And then definitely on the survey, look at if there's a flood or an easement. Second is to review the lease, audit, rent roll, make sure it's matching what the marketing package that you receive. Because again, when you make an offer, a price, you're basing it on the marketing package, right? Because you don't have this yet until you've done a contract. So make sure they matches. If they don't, then we have a problem. We have to kind of go back to the seller and say, hey, initially I thought there's going to be $100,000 in net operating income, but now it's only, after reviewing everything, it's only $80,000. So there's a difference of $20,000. Then we have to renegotiate the price. Request for the last 2 years financials, income statement, and then review if there's any utilities contracts still intact, and then make sure you looked at the lease structure. Are they triple net lease? Are they gross lease? Are they modified gross? Things like that. So those are the things that I'll look at when I go under contract in the due diligence phase. All right, that's it. Thank you for spending your time watching my videos. If there's anything that you want to learn more about commercial real estate, any topic at all related to CRE, comment below, let me know, and I'll shoot some videos for you so you can then learn how to invest commercial real estate like a pro. Again, my name is Calvin Wong. I also own commercial buildings, warehouses, and retail. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.